Good morning. You know I'm going to do this. I know you can do better. Good morning. Good morning. That's so much more energy. Great job. I'm Laura Ettinger, she, her pronouns, and I look forward to sharing leadership for today's service with the Rev. Bran Lennox as we explore living generosity, or raising fun, spelled F-U-N-D. Right. Whoever you are, wherever you live, whomever you love, and however you may spend your days or your funds, you are welcome at the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg. We invite you to join us for coffee hour following this morning's service, either downstairs or on Zoom. And I invite you to take this moment to hold our space here as sacred by silencing your electronic devices and preparing yourself to be fully present. Online or in person, we're so grateful for this time together.
We have chosen to bring ourselves here to this sanctuary today to shamelessly fundraise as a community of faith. We join together in generosity as a covenanted people who are drawn together by the limitations of capitalism and the klaxon-like pull of the annual budget. As seekers, wanderers, givers and receivers, and contributors of cash, our paths have converged today so that we might become present to the spirit that is stewardship. And so let us worship together. Let's rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing. Each week, it is our tradition to light a chalice, which casts a circle of light to hold us all. As we create anew this symbol of our shared faith, let's reflect on these words by Pat Uribe-Lichty. We light our chalice today knowing that our hope and our passion are needed to change the world. We bring different gifts to the work, but we come together in one faith, that what we do makes a difference, both to our world and in ourselves.
When we gather in community, it's important to remind ourselves and each other of why we are here and what we've agreed to try together. Here at UCH, we've decided our goals are to encourage each other, to equip each other with what we need to succeed, and to empower each other to do good things. We renew this promise by reading our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning. So today's story is titled The More You Give by Marcy Campbell and Francesca Sana. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did the first time I read it. Once there was a wide open field and a boy who loved his grandmother, who loved him back. And they were very happy. The grandmother gave the boy many gifts, like big hugs and bigger laughter and the very biggest Sunday morning pancakes. But she had more to give, small gifts like acorns, tiny and shiny with wild and woolly caps. Most of the gifts she gave to the boy were ones that he could not hold in his hands, like Oliver wisdom and how things grow. The boy watched and wondered until one day, "When will it be bigger than me?" he asked as he dreamed of swings and secret places. In reply, his grandmother gave him another gift, patience. The boy had a birthday, and the tree reached his knees. The boy had a birthday, and the tree reached his shoulders. The boy's grandmother had a birthday, and he gave her many gifts, like a poem, a picture, a crown, and most of all, his love. And she loved him back, and they were happy. Until one day, slowly, happiness spread its roots again. The boy's grandmother had taught him to ask for help when he needed it, and so, remembering, he did. He watered and weeded while he watched and wondered. He grew tall with wondering, still dreaming of swings and secret spaces, but not for himself. Once, there was a not so wide open field and a girl who loved her father, who loved her back. And they were happy. The father gave the girl many gifts, like piggyback rides and plump strawberries and bedtime stories about his grandmother. He also gave the girl acorns, tiny, shiny things with wild and woolly caps. But he had more to give, like all of his wisdom about how things grow. "When will it be bigger than me?" the girl asked. And he explained how love, even when given to the smallest of things, can spread up and out and grow bigger than she could ever imagine. Together, they watered and weeded, and in time they found shade, a home and shade, thick branches that were perfect for, They watched and waited and wondered. The girl grew and the trees grew, and their love grew and spread up and out while the girl dreamed of secret spaces, but not for herself. Once there was a field dotted with trees, and a boy who loved his mother, who loved him back, and they were happy. The boy's mother gave him pancakes made from her grandmother's recipe, topped with strawberries from her father's patch. And hugs and laughter and piggyback rides and bedtime stories about their family and its love of green growing things. The boy's mother gave him acorns, and together they planted and watered and weeded and watched and wondered. From their secret space, which wasn't very secret, the boy and his mother shared their wisdom with anyone and everyone about how things grow, like trees and people and kindness. The boy always had more love to give, and he got love in return. Was it bigger than him? It was. It was much bigger than he had ever imagined. And that is why he was happy. Once there was a forest.
When I was about 23 years old, I was looking for a script from a show from my then recent past when I happened upon a box of memorabilia. In it, I found a birthday card from when I turned 17 from a grandparent with $20 still in it. Somehow, right? Wow, yes. Somehow that $20 lived in that card for 6 years before I found it. Now, it's important to understand, never in my life did I have so much money that I didn't know what to do with it or would have overlooked $20 as a minor treasure. So it was really funny that teenage me had managed to deposit the card in a box prior to removing the gift. Also funny, that box I found the cards in, I had carried with me from several apartments. One friend who had helped me pack when I was moving from my college town in Buffalo, New York, back to Corning, New York, she found my stash, and I remember vividly her saying, "Wow, Laura, so it's safe to say if I give you a birthday card or any card, you'll have it forever." She was not wrong. Then or now, it's still accurate. I'm not a hoarder of most physical things. We won't talk about books or all things digital. My email's a mess. But except for those tangible things like cards with some sentimental value. And yes, Marie Kondo, I promise they bring me joy. So I'll need to hang on to those until someone gets to sort through my estate someday. God bless you. This story came to mind thinking of money and my relationship with it. And it brought me back to that time in my life when costs were largely shared among friends because none of us had enough to do life alone. None of us came from affluent families. Pooling resources was the only way we could make life work. We had to do it together, find apartments together, look for jobs together, look out for each other. I think about that time because I really started to learn what chosen family meant. And I had it reinforced over and again that we cannot do this business of living alone. Which brings me to UCH, an easy leap to make. I was still in my 20s, the very end of them, when I became a member here. I've been through many a stewardship campaign, and I've watched this community come together and share resources to ensure the church is able to live into our ideals, to care for one another, even when it's hard. It was here that I learned that budgets are moral documents carefully crafted to address our priorities. It was here that I learned how important it is, how empowering it is, how community-driven it is to review a budget together and to vote as a collective to approve it. And I love that no matter how much I'm able to give individually, that amount is amplified by all of us giving. I love that I get to be a part of a team of folks giving whatever we reasonably can to make sure we support both the day-to-day operations and the dreams of this community. May we continue to live into our generosity and support how we can, when we can, knowing that sharing our resources is the best way for us to grow and thrive together.
Let's join in singing.
I believe in the
stewardship team decided that this year, our stewardship invitation to the congregation is to live generosity. Now, this phrasing is pretty specific and makes the most sense when you recall that generosity is one of the 6 Unitarian Universalist values centered in love. These 6 values are held within Article 2 of the Unitarian Universalist Association's bylaws, which has this to say about generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Now, this short paragraph is pretty dense with important ideas, connecting generosity to both gratitude and hope. The idea of free and compassionate sharing. And then the part that excites me the most, that the connecting power of generosity is about interdependence and mutuality. Generosity is not a hierarchy for us when we're at our best. It's not about who has more and who is in need. It's about building relationships. It's about being in the continuum of giving and receiving together, and the ways that that draws us closer to one another. All of which makes me consider my own experiences with community, giving, and receiving through the lens of ministry. Say, ministers aren't supposed to have favorite congregants, right? Okay, I love you all equally as human beings. You are all my favorite, each and every one of you. But I secretly have a favorite type of congregant to minister to. Contrary to what you might expect, my favorite pastoral relationships are with the people who bother me on a regular basis. And by bother, I mean call me and tell me when you're struggling with something. Those of you who, despite admitted worries that you're being too much of a bother, reach out and ask me for my time. I love not having to chase you down just to do my job. It's the best. And at times I suspect that some of you are trying a bit too hard to be low maintenance. You might hold back on speaking up when something's worrying you, or hesitate to schedule a pastoral meeting because you think you don't have an important enough reason. Depending on some elements of your own social conditioning, it might not even occur to you that asking for support is an option. And believe it or not, I get it. Compulsive stoicism is, in fact, one of my own peskiest personal neuroses. I may or may not fry my body and brain on a regular basis because I feel some overwhelming attachment to getting by on my own. I practice good boundaries, and I stop when I need to stop, but admit that I could use some help? Gosh, that idea is exhausting. Which is really quite ridiculous, considering that I know what kind of good somebody asking for help can do for a community. About a decade ago, I made some extremely poor choices involving skiing. The first poor choice was skiing at all. The next poor choice was giving the equipment rental folks the wrong information about binding tension. And the crucial poor choice was the one where I let myself get pressured into going down a slope which was far too advanced for what I could handle. I will spare you the painful details. But suffice it to say, that day was the last time I walked for the next 3 months. And I have a nice big surgical scar on my left knee to remind me of my own hubris forever. So here I was, 25 years old, flat broke again, having lost my job as a result of the accident, and in need of around-the-clock assistance at home just to survive. You know, just about the only situation where I would have to admit defeat. I swallowed my pride and I put out a message asking my recently acquired community of friends for help. I made a little sign-up sheet online with shifts for folks to come feed me and keep me company. And by the end of the first day, the entire sheet was full. 6 weeks later, I was having to ask people to leave my house so I could have some time to myself. Over the next few years, I was part of a lively community of friends who suddenly helped each other with everything. We all had certain things that we could each do. Some of us had cars and could drive people places. Some were good cooks and could distribute meals. Some folks had massage training and would provide care that way. Those with more financial capacity covered some of the more challenging expenses for those of us with less. We all took care of each other. And somehow, I emerged from my personal catastrophe with this odd new status as a community leader. People looked up to me. I heard how happy it had made them to be able to show up for someone, and then I heard how it created a type of domino effect. People realized they had permission to ask for help when they needed it because of the example that I had somehow set. In a mind-blowing twist, the story of how I wrecked my knee and lost everything is the story of how I earned respect and esteem for the first time in my life. And it wasn't for being tough. And I was able to take all of that energy my community had poured into me and magnify it and transform it into a life dedicated to helping other people. So yes, my favorite people to minister to are the ones who exhibit leadership by asking for help. Those who are generous not only with their resources, but also with their needs. And that's the thing about giving and receiving. They're inextricable. Without receiving, giving is just throwing things away, right? We heard last week from the Caring Connection about all the ways we can care for one another as a community, but these caring actions can only go so far as people are willing to accept them. The more members of this congregation who are willing to take the plunge and try reaching out, the stronger the community becomes. Connection is the core of why we're here. So don't hide. Tell each other the truth when someone asks how you're doing. The next time you're lonely or anxious or sad, call someone, text someone. It takes so much courage to let your guard down around these things, but it is so very worth the effort. And of course, it's not limited to asking for a listening ear. Ask for and accept help with concrete things, too. Meals and rides are things the Caring Connection loves to help provide. And who knows, maybe this is also a congregation where people can help each other garden and take care of your homes and, I don't know, do each other's taxes. What comes easily to you that might help someone in this room? As long as we keep asking, we keep our connections open, and the mission of this church remains meaningful. So I'm going to try following my own advice right now. I'm going to ask you to do me a personal favor. This stewardship thing, we laugh, but it's important to me. It honestly is. In many ways, it determines the well-being and the future of this community, which I have now committed myself to partnering with for the next however many years. Stewardship funds are paying my salary so I can afford to devote a full schedule of time and energy to ministry. It pays the salaries of the other staff members whom I have grown to care for and upon whom I depend as teammates. Stewardship keeps us with a roof over our heads here. It keeps us enjoying the blessings of amazing music and administrative excellence and our dear Patty Hazel down in the nursery so families with babies can welcome and thrive here too. It also means that when someone needs an hour of my time or a memorial service for a loved one or faith development for their kids, I don't have to ask if they can pay for that. I can say yes and know that collectively we have each other's back so that everyone can be held with equal dignity. Sustaining and tending a community into a state of thriving is so important to me that sometimes it's the only thing I can talk about. I personally believe that communities like this one are the most powerful force of human good in the world today. And in this world, that doesn't happen without money. So rather than dancing around the topic or apologizing for this request, I'm going to thank you all for showing me I can be honest with you and I can trust you with the unvarnished truth. That truth is, the favor I need to ask is that you raise the priority level of pledging to this congregation in your life. When you have a choice of what to do with your funds, please embody generosity for the sake of our community. We need you, and I need you, and we need each other. Help keep this community alive by helping us surpass the bare minimum, which so often characterizes congregational budgets. We can do so much more good together than we could do alone, and more than ever, the world sorely needs places like this one. Thank you for making a difference. Even showing up today is a life-giving choice. When we live generosity in both our needs and our resources, we embody the spirit of gratitude and hope. We live in the ways of interdependence, reminding ourselves that we are not alone. Let's give and receive together, and let even this lead us to joy and wonder. Now is the time when we engage as a community in the sharing of our joys and sorrows, our concerns and our milestones. When we join together to hold each other in support and in celebration, we deepen our sense of interrelationship. We may find our sorrows eased and our joys magnified. I invite you to share them now through writing them on a slip of paper at the back of the room or typing them into the virtual chat. Please indicate whether your message is okay to share out loud. You can also honor whatever you are holding in your heart today by placing a stone into the water of community here. Please come down the center aisle, returning to your seats by the side aisles. Spoken or unspoken, our hearts join with yours in carrying all that life brings. Place a final stone into the water today in honor of all of those many things which are being felt and shared around the world, those who are with us in spirit, if not in body. Joe Hefner shares with us, I am beginning radiation therapy on Tuesday for the next 5.5 weeks. Amy Firestein shares a joy. After 3.5 months since the accident in December, my mom is home and finally able to put weight on her right foot again. Go PT. And go Mary. Dorothy Brown shares, I lost both my sisters this winter. One of them was a responsibility, one a joy. I will miss them forever. Eileen Wolf says, sorry I could not be there today in person, but I have family plans immediately following the service and would have to rush out the door. We're glad you made the effort to join us, Eileen. We have an anonymous submission. This person says, yesterday my 32-year-old daughter had to perform CPR on an 11-week-old baby. And the baby passed, a victim of co-sleeping, reaffirming the sanctity of all life and its beginnings and endings. Abena says, "Good morning, UU family. I am back in the hospital again. I am working towards peace and balance through these series of illnesses. Please ask the universe to help find my healthy space again." We're praying for you, Abena. Ed and Karen Sykes share, "So happy to see our granddaughter Brianna/Liz Hayes perform at the Middletown High School performance of Anything Goes. It was wonderful." Our friend Wenji in Haiti has some words for us today. "Good morning, all. It's a pleasure watching the service with you. My brother Wendez is watching with me. He said hello to you. Have a nice day." Hi, Wenji and Wendez. Ewan Harris shares with us, "Looking forward to sharing music with you all after the service." We're grateful that you'll be doing that, Ewan. Thank you. For all that has been shared and those many things that we hold in our hearts and yet remain unspoken, we journey with each other in love. Let's join together now in the spirit of meditation, opening our hearts and minds to these words of prayer offered by Arif Mamdani. We are that. An intuition, a sliver of God consciousness in our hearts, pointing toward a bigger reality. We are that, says a little acorn, pointing toward an oak tree. We are that, says Buddha, pointing toward the moon. We are that, says Jesus, pointing toward a lamp. We are that, said Martin. We are that, said Malcolm. We are that, said Asata. We are that, said Ella. We are that, we are that, we are that. Wave upon wave upon wave. Poets and prophets pointing, agitating, washing over us with waves of love that never forget who we really are, who we could be, even in the midst of our endless forgetting. Listen. Listen. Can you hear, do you feel the waves of love washing over you? Waves of love that remember even now who you are, who we are. Waves of love gently carrying us home. Waves of love gently carrying us home. Here in this ocean of love, compassion, and care, we offer up all the things we carry in our hearts this day. All the things we would surround in the embrace of this congregation. May the grip of disease be loosened. May the weight of oppression be lightened. May truth be told. May joy break through. And may love make every suffering bearable for us all.
Good morning. Here's my story of how I got here and why I'm committed to supporting this congregation. In 2004, I left my job as co-pastor of the Elizabethtown Church of the Brethren. I went to Hershey Medical Center to complete my training to become a chaplain. In 2005, I was employed by Hospice of Lancaster County and later became known as Hospice and Community Care, where I worked joyfully full-time for 10 years and part-time for another 7. When I left my job as a pastor, I took some time off from the church. After a few years, I began searching in earnest. My first requirement was that the church be unabashedly welcoming and inclusive of the LGBTQ+ community. I tried the Episcopal Church in Hershey, and while they were very nice, I just wasn't a high church person. I also attended the UCC Church in Hummelstown, but realized I do not believe in creeds and doctrines and prescribed prayers. And I tried a few others. When I found the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg, I found my home. The Sunday services were inspiring. I could affirm all the UU principles without reservation. When I was a part of the Church of the Brethren, I really appreciated its commitment to peace and justice and service, and I was able to continue those commitments here. So in 2010, so I guess I'm relatively new, I signed the book and joined this church. We have been through our ups and downs in the years since then, but now we have a marvelous, settled minister who inspires me and helps me to grow, yes. And all the other staff, they're wonderful too. We are so fortunate. I'm part of a covenant group as well, where we have good conversations and give each other courage in these trying times. A couple months ago, I said yes to chairing the stewardship team this year because I am fully committed to the life and health of this congregation. In my list of organizations to which I contribute, the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg is at the top of the list by far. If your soul is enriched here, if your spirit is uplifted here, if your mind is challenged here, in this community, both in person and online, which is usually where I am, I invite you to support this congregation and its ministries. Now, in some exercise programs, they tell you no pain, no gain. In some stewardship programs, I've been told, give till it hurts. Well, I don't believe that. I believe our giving should not hurt us. Give till you shout for joy. Give till your soul is happy. That's what I believe. Now, we have 4 weeks to breathe deeply and to think about what pledge you will make for the upcoming fiscal year. April 12 is our deadline for receiving those pledges. If you have any questions about how your money is used, please ask those questions. Now, some of you picked up your envelope like this out in the lobby on your way in. If you didn't get yours, go find it. They're in alphabetical order out there. If you can't find one with your name on it, there's some blank ones to the left side. And if you don't pick it up today, it'll get mailed to you. So thank you. Thank you for your generosity, for the generosity that you live every day.
The baton has been passed. Hello, everyone. I'm Mary Henninger-Voss, and I serve also on the 2026 Stewardship Committee. Every week, someone stands up here and tells you that this is a freely gathered congregation of free people. So what does that mean? First, it means every single person here, every one of you has chosen to be here this morning. And second, that everything you see, everything we do together is funded solely and only by us, by you, by me, and the people sitting next to you. We also tell you that whatever you put in the basket that comes around will be shared. This congregation supports not only itself, but a number of efforts that act for the collective liberation of our broader community. This month, we share the plate with the International Service Center. The Harrisburg ISC supports immigrants in central Pennsylvania and provides help with language, housing, healthcare, and other services. Now, I just want to point out that there are 3 things that have been scientifically proven to make you more happy: exercise, meditation, and generosity. And I'm just saying, of the 3 of them, exercise, meditation, and generosity, I'm thinking generosity is probably the easiest one, so why not start there? So people in the sanctuary should have been given a $2 bill as you entered, and that is a freely given $2 bill, a gift from this church. You can do whatever you want with that $2 bill. There's an interesting thing about it too, you might have noticed. It's the only piece of American money that honors a collective. On the back is the group of people signing the Declaration of Independence. It's a gathering of people doing something heroic than one heroic individual and the memorial to that individual. So please reflect for a moment on how it felt to receive that gift. You might want to keep the $2 because you're always short of cash, or you might want to experience what it's like by contributing it back. $1 for the church and $1 for the sorely needed aid to immigrants that ISC provides. If you do let go of that $2, you might want to reflect on how that feels. You might find that letting it go makes you happier than keeping it. Maybe it's feeling like part of the interdependent web. Maybe it's being in the flow of oneness. I don't know. But scientifically, science predicts that you will feel happier. On the other hand, you might want to keep it because a $2 bill is kind of cool. It's unusual. And in that case, you might decide that you want to give something else back, say a $5 or a $10 bill. What might that feel like? Or maybe a check for $50 or $100. Or use the QR code on the back of the order of service and charge it for however much you like. Just think how good that might feel. And don't feel left out, members online. You can go to uchbg.org and scroll down to the donate button. Be sure to choose Share the Plate from the drop-down menu. So I ask you not to let the basket go by without considering the blessing of generosity to you and from you. I ask you to pick up those stewardship envelopes that have been lovingly compiled for you with your names on them and cultivate your gratitude and your hope by filling out the pledge card. And I ask you to join us downstairs to celebrate, where people have generously donated foods and talents to feed us all and entertain us all. I wish you the freedom to treat generosity not as a momentary impulse, but as a lifestyle, to live generosity, because that's where we find abundance in lean times.
Let's rise and sing. Go now and live generosity in your own way.